It's Blake. Welcome in to episode number 36 of our WWE 2021 save in TEW 2020. This is week 1 in September, and this is SmackDown, featuring the fallout from SummerSlam. Hopefully, you got a chance to check out SummerSlam. If not, definitely check that out before you watch this, because it will spoil a very big development. But also check out the fallout on Raw, which sets up a very big episode of Raw coming up on the next video in this series. So check all that out before you jump into this one. But let's jump in to SmackDown, which starts with the pre-show. It is Jinder Mahal and Dio Madden getting the win over Grand Metalik and Humberto Carrillo in 6:57, 49 overall. Off their game here, so we never like to see those notes, but really, as we always say, the pre-show, we kind of know what it's for right now. It's just to try some things out. I thought it would be curious to try out a tag team between Jinder and Dio Madden. No notes or anything, no bonuses, anything like that with chemistry. But we thought we'd try it, and so they get a win and a victory here over these two, which are not doing a whole lot in our save at this point. And then it is Naomi getting a win over Natalya in 7:27, 41 overall on this one. So another match where I don't think we've had many matches with Naomi and Natalya to this point. But as we know, Natalya and Tamina just lost the tag team titles to Sonya Deville and Shayna Baszler. So we'll see where things go for Natalya and Tamina. But Naomi has also kind of been someone that's been in the background for a little bit. That will change here in the coming months. But for now, they're on the pre-show. And it's Naomi getting the win over Natalya. And now we jump into the main show, which starts with a big thank you. What do you know? A thank you. And that is Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman. In a video we see to start SmackDown, they say thank you to Mick Foley, and they thank him for delivering The Rock, delivering him, and they are finally going to get what they've been waiting for. And that is the chance to prove once and for all that Roman Reigns is the head of the table and that this guy, The Rock, out here thinking that he's the true star of the family, the true star in the history of WWE. Well, it's Roman Reigns, and he's going to finally shut The Rock up, and this is what he's been waiting for his entire career. So, Reigns thanks Foley in a very sort of mysterious video talking about how he will finally in the reign of the Great One, and that is Roman Reigns' goal. So we'll find out where it goes from here. 84 overall, not a bad segment. As we always say, probably would have done better, if we keep Foley out of some of these things. But Foley's our GM. Come on, we got to give him some love, and he's played a big part in the story, and he'll continue to play a pretty big part in the story here as we move forward. So Roman Reigns, nice guy, thanking people. What a gem, what a true gem he is. And then we start off with our first match, which is Samoa Joe getting the win over Elias in 9:37. Coquina Clutch, 61 overall, not bad. Samoa Joe, as we saw, returned at SummerSlam. He was our mystery entrant into the SmackDown Money in the Bank match. And now he is clearly back on SmackDown here. And as we will see, Samoa Joe is on a mission because he cuts a promo, which after his match, we see Joe, and he simply doesn't, not a man of many words. Joe says he's back to destroy everyone. That's his goal. He is going to destroy everyone in his path because his ultimate goal is to become the Universal Champion. And so Samoa Joe is back. He's back here on SmackDown and has one goal in mind, and that's to destroy everyone in front of him. So we'll see if Samoa Joe is successful in doing that. But nice to have Joe on SmackDown. I told you guys I went back and forth on who that sixth person was going to be in the Money in the Bank match, but ultimately I just saw Joe there, and he was someone that I knew we could use in a lot of different ways. Good promo, good in the ring, can add him into a lot of different storylines. So we just decided to go with him rather than someone else, and so we'll see how it pays off. But we got some big stuff in the works for our friend Joe. And then we get a segment here, one that's kind of been building to this point for a while now, as we know. 69 overall, nice segment. As it is Mick Foley calling in Mustafa Ali to his office and he tells Ali that he has been traded to Raw and that he will face Cesaro next week on Raw. So we add another semi-big match to our Raw show coming up on the next episode, as Ali has been traded. And as we know, we kind of see how this is played out. The back and forth pay-per-view appearances from Cesaro and Ali going after each other since they're on different brands. But this has been Ali really just kind of poking at Foley over the past several weeks. And he's continued this for about a month now. And well, he doesn't have to worry about that anymore, because he now has to go see if he can have the same results going after Stone Cold Steve Austin as the Raw GM. But nonetheless, it is going to be Ali and Cesaro, that match that's been, 3 months in the making now, based on everything that we've done with them, which hasn't been a whole lot of segments. It's been 3, 4, 5, something like that. So yeah, that is the deal. We have our first official trade in our series, as it is Ali been traded to Raw, and one-on-one match with Cesaro on the next episode. And then we get a tag team match here, as we mentioned earlier. Our new women's tag team champions, Shayna Baszler, Sonya Deville, get the win. Not a great match, but not exactly what we were going for. We didn't really, this is just kind of one of those matches where they're just dominating everyone. They get the win over Dana Brooke, Mia Yim here. Sonya is still benefiting from that ground well of public support. That always gives us a boost in her matches. So that helps. But, again, not a great match, but you know what we're going for here. We're simply going for the continued dominance of this duo right here with Baszler and Deville. And so they get the win after winning the tag team championships at SummerSlam. And my goodness, 91 overall. This is incredible. This is easily our best segment ever with Bianca Belair. A 91. Wow, that is something, huh? But we said, coming out of SummerSlam, she won the match, and we saw that her popularity has sort of just continued to skyrocket. And this is pretty incredible. So a 91, that's something. So Belair is backstage. She retained her women's championship against Charlotte Flair at SummerSlam, and finally got the title back physically, as we know. But now she says she's done with Charlotte Flair. She's tired of talking about her. She's beat her. That's it. She's ready for her next opponent. And we'll see who that is. But Bianca, just sort of your champion statement here, where she's taken out her previous challenger. She's ready for her next challenger. We will see who that is, and we will be finding that out soon enough on SmackDown. But wow, I keep looking at this. I'm like, 91. That is just fantastic. So we know we've got a star in Bianca. Her popularity continues just to go through the roof. And this is just, I can't get over this. This is great. So fantastic segment here. And again, the best one, without question, we've had with Bianca thus far. Just unbelievable. Can't say enough about it. She's our MVP. Can I give her a speech right now? I can't. But if I could, she would get all the compliments. And then we get to another segment here, which is the Usos. They lost their tag team championships to the New Day at SummerSlam. And they demand their rematch from Foley. Foley's just had enough. He's not taking their stuff anymore. He's done with them. He's like, I'm tired of Roman Reigns. I'm tired of the Usos. And he tells them that's not how it works. As they know, as the champions, they know that once the titles were lost, they come back to SmackDown. The next championship opportunity goes to Raw. And so they're not getting their shot at the title, but Foley says they will get a match. And they're going to get that match next, because they are going to go up against one of their previous foes in the Viking Raiders. So Foley's just done with the bloodline here. He's tired of dealing with them. He's got the Rock back. He's done with them. Foley's a happy man. And in that match, the Usos get the win over the Viking Raiders, 10:05. Jay pins Ivar. We get a 59 overall here. Not great, but I think we remember. Honestly, I don't even remember what the previous match got between these two. What was it? They fought at Great American Bash. I don't remember exactly how good the match was, but we always get the tag team bonuses from this group. We always kind of know that's what we're getting here. But, Eric and Ivar are not bad. They're not bad, and we'll probably, find some stuff for them to do along the way. But we kind of already put them in that tag team title match at Great American Bash. But they're not bad. I think we will find some things for them to do because there are some ways I think we can go around that. But right now, it's all about sort of, playing into this story we're going to have with the Usos and So they get the win here, as you would probably expect, bouncing back from losing their championships to the New Day at SummerSlam. And then another just fantastic stuff here, 88 overall. It is Bray Wyatt who is on in somewhere. We never know where Bray Wyatt's at. This guy's everywhere. It's just a dark room. It's Bray Wyatt. You know the drill here. As he talks about how he promised everyone a hero's journey, that this was his journey, and he says that the journey continues after destroying Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. Of course, not only did Bray win that match, after the match, just completely brutalized McIntyre and just, completely snapped and lost it. And so that is kind of the focus here, and the continued, cryptic nature of Bray Wyatt. He is just continuing on his journey here, and so the hero who Bray Wyatt has defined himself as continues his journey, and we will see what's next in that. And then it is Apollo Crews hyping his rematch he will get next week on SmackDown. So there's a match we've got for SmackDown next week, an Intercontinental Championship on the line as Keith Lee, our new champion, who defeated Crews at SummerSlam. He will now defend against Crews again here as Crews gets his rematch. And so he says that he is going to take back his title. He was not ready. He was not prepared for Keith Lee. He needed more time to prepare. He blames Mick Foley because everyone's blaming Mick Foley, especially Crews and Ali. Those two guys they can't stand Mick Foley. So Crews has said that, look, he's going to take his championship back next week. That's all there is to it. And that he is going to get an even bigger advantage in this big six-man tag team match we've got coming up next because he will be in there with Keith Lee. So 59 overall, that's kind of what we expect now from Crews promos. They usually hit about that range or so since he's, his overness, I think, is around 60-ish. So, yeah, that's about what we expect. But speaking of that match, good stuff here. 66, I'll take it. It's not bad. It's a pretty good assortment of, I like this six-man. Like, I was, putting it together and I was thinking, wow, this is not a bad six-man here. I'm okay with this. So, it is in this six-man. It is Keith Lee, Damian Priest, and Shinsuke Nakamura getting the win over Crews, Baron Corbin, and Sami Zayn in 13:41. Keith Lee hitting the Spirit Bomb on Baron Corbin to get the win. If we look at here, all of our in-ring performances and such, there's just a lot of guys who are kind of right there in that same range. And we've talked about this before with SmackDown. If you go up and down the line here with some of these guys, whether it's Crews, Zayn, Keith Lee, Priest, Nakamura even. I mean, Corbin's not that bad. He's not that far behind. But you just got a lot of really solid guys. And I think it's how do we sort of continue to push some of these guys forward, which we've already seen that with some of these guys in this match. Of course, Keith Lee wins the Intercontinental Championship. Damian Priest has got a pinfall over Seth Rollins to his credit. And then, of course, we've seen Crews. He's had an Intercontinental title run for several months. So there's a lot of interesting stuff I think we can do with this group on SmackDown. And as you'll see, we got a lot of interesting things in the works. But I really like this sort of this unit here of just really solid workers, guys who have a lot of potential, good star quality. I think that's a really good group we've got on SmackDown. So 66 overall. I mean, obviously, it's not a great match, but still, we'll take it. Just based on a lot of these guys are in that 60, to 70 type range. I guess we talked about Priest in the State of WWE video. His popularity is kind of just boosted big time. Keith Lee's starting to go up. Zayn's still right there in the 60s, I think. So we got a lot of stuff to work with here, but a nice little six-man tag that sets up, more of that tension heading into that Intercontinental Championship match next week between Keith Lee and Apollo Crews. And then it's Seth Rollins backstage. Seth saying that he told everyone. He was going to be Mr. Money in the Bank again. That's exactly what he did at SummerSlam. He won the briefcase, and now it's only one step away from becoming the Universal Champion. And Rollins says that he's tired of always saying that he's going to do something, and he does it, and yet no one will give him the credit. Well, he's going to prove that once he becomes champion, he's going to have all the credit, all the spotlight. And so Seth Rollins now preparing for his main event match he's going to have here with Jeff Hardy. And in the main event, which does not do very well, 65 overall, looks like we have pretty good chemistry here. That's interesting because I think we've had a match between these two before, and I don't remember that we had this chemistry, but maybe we did. I'm sure if I go back and look at it, we may have had it. I just forgot about it. I want to say towards the beginning of the save, we had this match somewhere. I couldn't remember, and I didn't look it up. But still, 65, I would have liked it to be a little bit better, but I think Jeff's overness just isn't there. And also, I think we know, too, that when you look at Jeff, he's got a lot of penalties when it comes to the stamina, declining physical ability. I mean, this wasn't a long match, 12 minutes, I think. So even the stamina was a little too much there. And, of course, we get penalized for the lack of an associated storyline. But still, it's not, we want our main event matches, and we'll start to see that. I told you guys in the Raw video, we're going to start to see that change. You're going to see some pretty high-profile main events we're going to have on our shows here moving forward, all because we've sort of now built up the roster, and we've got some more additions to come. I think it's going to make it easier to kind of, place people in some of these big main event matches a little bit better, rather than maybe some predictable matches like this one. You probably knew Seth Rollins was going to beat Jeff Hardy, but that's sort of that next evolution of our series, and you'll see that here after Phase 1, which, as we said, after SummerSlam, up to SummerSlam was Phase 1. Now, sort of in Phase 2 of where things head on the road to Survivor Series. So Seth gets the win here, and then a little tension as Seth finishes with his match. He walks up the aisle. Good segment here, 88 overall. And Roman Reigns is not waiting around anymore because, as we heard earlier, he wants The Rock, and Reigns is making his way down before Rollins can even get out of there. And then we have the little tension there as Rollins, with his Money in the Bank briefcase, walking right by Roman Reigns up the aisle, and Reigns staring intently at the briefcase, knowing that at any time Seth Rollins could choose to cash in and perhaps end the long reign of Roman Reigns. So a little tension there after Seth is now Mr. Money in the Bank, so we'll see what's next in that. But Roman Reigns has enemies, and that's how we've got to transition the storyline leading up to SummerSlam. That's sort of the next chapter here. Is now Roman Reigns has a lot of enemies, and we'll see what that leads to. But we know the biggest enemy right now is just one away, almost Mr. 100 again. I guess Mr. 100s because we've got, Rock, Reigns, these guys just always bring it. But here we go. The Rock is back. Reigns calls him out and says, all right, it's time. Let's go right now. Rock explains that the reason he returned is that WWE is his home. And, if you guys want me to, I can, do the whole spiel about finally The Rock has come back. But I don't think you want to, hear me try to imitate that. I'm not The Rock, so it probably wouldn't work out too well. But Rock explains the reason why he returned is because he was tired of sitting around watching Roman Reigns destroy everything that The Rock worked so hard to build. The WWE is his home. Vince McMahon, the McMahon family, they've always given him an opportunity, and yet Roman Reigns, all he does is go out and try to disrespect everyone, beating up Vince McMahon, an old man, beating up Shane McMahon, and so forth. And The Rock says that he's back knowing that as soon as the words came out of his mouth that Roman Reigns wanted him, he knew exactly what he was talking about. And The Rock says he's back now to go after Roman Reigns. And so The Rock says 25 years ago, his WWF pay-per-view debut was at Survivor Series. 25 years later, he's coming to Survivor Series to kick Roman Reigns' ass and to take back the WWE from Roman Reigns and prove that whether it's WWE, whether it's their family, The Rock has and always will be the head of the table. And so The Rock challenges Roman Reigns to a match at Survivor Series. 25 years in the making here for The Rock. And so Roman Reigns has nothing to say. He simply smiles, and Reigns and Heyman exit the ring. So we don't really have anything to go off of after The Rock says that. Reigns walks out with a smile on his face, and The Rock just waits in the ring. And so there is sort of the finish, the big, momentum here behind The Rock, who now has challenged Roman Reigns for Survivor Series, although we don't yet have any answer from Reigns, who makes his way out with a smile on his face. So we will see what that's all about, but as always, we know what we're going to get here. It's why we brought The Rock back. These segments are just going to be incredible, and we'll see if what the road looks like to Survivor Series. But The Rock, 25 years ago, this is going to be the 25th anniversary for The Rock, making his pay-per-view debut at Survivor Series, and perhaps one of his biggest matches ever against Roman Reigns. We'll find out. But there's SmackDown and 79, so really pretty good show here. I think that a lot of our segments really came through. Obviously, you guys know the Bianca one, I'm just still like 91. Incredible. Bianca Belair, star. And we know what we're getting with Rock and Reigns, but a lot of our segments came through here. Matches, not so much, but I think that will start to change as we go through it. But let's see what we need to look at before we wrap up. All right, so if we look here at kind of what things look like, we see one here, Bully Ray going to retire, so that's interesting. I guess I thought he had already retired, but he's going to retire. SmackDown report really struck gold. We're back to striking gold. That's what we want. If we look at our email, oh, okay, so Sasha Banks' contract's ending. I think we know exactly what we want to do on that. So let's do this here with Sasha. We're going to just kind of keep it here. I have a feeling we're going to have to go up on the merchandise. Let's see how that works. She wants more. That's fine. It's Sasha. We're going to give her what she wants. And there we go. So we're going to make an offer to Sasha Banks. We'll see if she accepts that. We would hope that she's going to. Then if we look at everything else, drug test fees, the usual, SmackDown gets a 5.37. I think that actually may be our highest thus far. So we're doing well on that front. And so there you go. There is kind of where things are at. On SmackDown, another really good episode of SmackDown, and we've got The Rock back, Roman Reigns, chaos, but potentially setting up a huge match, and we'll see what's next with that. A couple things before we wrap up quickly. Kota Ibushi was the talk of the comments after our Raw video. We saw that he was available, as pointed out by several people in the comments, and I knew this was going to happen, but I thought we'd take our chance anyways. Got to give you guys a little tease to see if we could. He's loyal to New Japan, so there was no way we were going to get Kota Ibushi unless they just, for whatever reason, decided not to offer him a contract extension. Of course they did. So every attempt we made to hire Kota Ibushi did not work, and so he is back with New Japan, so we will try again, in 2 or 3 years, whenever his contract is up. And as always, thanks so much. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I love the feedback. You guys are great. This is so much fun to do. So thank you again, as always, for watching. And on the next episode, it will be a big edition of Raw with our main event. Edge, Bobby Lashley, Daniel Bryan. Sorry, I'm going to say that. We're going to flip back and forth so much with him, just based on where things are at in actual wrestling. Edge, Bobby Lashley, Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship triple threat match will headline our next edition of Raw.